Good morning. Quick video before I go to work. Yeah, I'm going to work. And if you're one of those people that think I'm a bastard for going to work, I don't know where your thought process is, but you're allowed to think that way. Just remember, I'm allowed to think my way too. I'm not putting anybody at risk by me going to work. Straight from home, straight to work, in a vacant house. I don't understand why people want to be pissed off at people like me. If you're safe hiding in your house, then and you have a compromised immune system, whatever, and you're safe in your house, good. That's where you should be. I'm not, or the people in my household are not susceptible to dying from this, no more than any other virus that's out there. So I'm going to continue to work, and the governor's told us that if anybody's working and you don't think they should be, you report them. It's quick how free will has been destroyed, and fascist Gestapo measures the population just fully accepts, cheering it on. I hope you get in trouble. I hope this. I hope that. I hope you get that second-degree misdemeanor. If I'm still living my life and I'm not putting anybody at risk and I'm not worried about it, and you're taking the proper precautions, which is what your choice is and what you decided to do, why are you worried about what anybody else is doing? Just sit back, relax. I'll keep the economy going the best I can because I got paying customers that were smart with their money, and still have ways to go. Still have ways to have liquidity. You might be asking why I have this penis head on the screen. The guy that got caught hoarding sanitizers and masks and stuff like that, and made the jump to buy all this stuff up before any of this happened. The reason, do I agree with what he did? Hell no. But he tried to capitalize on the situation. That was his choice. But this guy saw it coming. This guy right here doesn't look that bright to me, but I guess I shouldn't judge a book by its cover. But he was smarter. Think about this. He was smarter than our government and the medical industry. This threat was so bad that our government and our medical industry decided to stockpile masks and sanitizer on their own. Before this guy, wait a minute, no, this guy got the jump on them. So that's telling me that they didn't consider this something actually really horrible, or they are very bad at their job, is a nice way to put it. If this guy got the jump on them and saw this coming, and our government and our medical industry did not, maybe they should give him a job, put him on the payroll. You know what I'm saying? I'm picking his nose right now with my cursor, making him eat it. Yummy. Okay, sorry. I get distracted real easy, so sorry about that. Another thing I noticed, Italy, oh my God, they're the worst. They're the worst ever. No new deaths. You can look at 20 different charts of what's going on, from the WHO, from this one that seems very popular, Worldometers. And if you look at 20 charts, you'll see 20 different sets of numbers. So I don't know how the CDC, the WHO, all these important places can't even get numbers straight, but one number that just jumped out at me was this one in the United States. United States, right now, 68. You can read. Well, actually, my setup really sucks, so you probably can't. Shut up, Lenovo. But 1,000 deaths to 428 recoveries. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but this tells me one of two things. I know it's early in the United States of this spread, but all the other countries were, throughout the outbreak, were pretty consistent on the deaths and recovery rates. And these two numbers are extremely skewed compared to all the other countries. This tells me either numbers are jacked up and they don't know how to count. There's a technical error, or our medical industry is one of the friggin' worst ones on the planet. I mean, worse than some countries who are supposedly not as advanced as us. Ooh, look, Iran. Well, crap. They've got that death to total recovered a hell of a lot better than we do. For some reason, our numbers are not going along with all the other numbers worldwide. They are really, really much worse. Go USA. Rock on. We are the best. And Italy is the hot spot on everybody's mind. Oh, they always bring up Italy. Well, Italy has the oldest population on the planet, and they love to hug and kiss. So yeah, maybe social distancing does help, but social distancing helps with all viruses. And this is the first one that a talking point and a trigger words of social distancing has come up. Flatten the curve, social distancing. I've never heard that crap about any other virus. It's talking points to get you excited and to parrot them off like nothing and to get you going on a narrative. Okay, so Italy. Well, I have many I have so many, you can read. I don't need to read that, but the smaller print I might have to read for you. And this was one thing, and I'm not trying to, just say, hey, this is what it is, this is what it is. I'm trying to show you different perspectives that the mainstream is not. That when things don't jive with their narrative, instead of still presenting them to you like a media should and let you figure out, they tell you what they want to tell you. So it takes other people to bring other information to light, and I'm not talking about truthers or anything like that. Truthers are I've found out through all this, are just as big a liars and very, very fear-mongering just as much as the media. If you don't think the media is fear-mongering, why, and the government, why in press conferences do they repeatedly say war? This is a war, and they only push out death numbers, not recovery numbers. Oh, anyway, where did I want to? Okay. So, according to Professor Walter Ciardi, if you're Italian and I mispronounced that, have a giggle on me. You're welcome. I won't charge you for it. He is the scientific advisor to Italy's Minister of Health. He's saying that the country's mortality rate is far higher due to demographics, which all these models don't take into consideration. Demographics, I'll show you that in a minute. The nation has the second oldest population worldwide, and the manner in which hospital death record. I don't know why that's just kind of an ending sentence there, but whatever. Now, he says the age of our patients in hospitals is substantially older. He's comparing to China. It's 67, when China was 46. And where else? So that is something that's not taken into consideration, but he also said the way in which we code deaths in our country is very generous in the sense that all people who die in hospitals with the coronavirus are deemed to be dying from the coronavirus, of the coronavirus. On re-evaluation by the National Institute of Health, not some goober talking on a teleprompter, only 12% of death certificates have shown a direct casualty from coronavirus, while 88% of patients who have died have at least one pre-morbidity, many, 2 or 3. This does not mean that COVID-19 did not contribute to the patient's death. Rather, it demonstrates that Italy's fatality toll has surged as a large proportion of patients have underlying health conditions. Experts have warned against making direct comparisons between countries due to discrepancies in testing. So they're saying a lot of these numbers are just crap because it's all on assumptions and they're not taking certain things into consideration. They're only pushing one narrative. Hats off to you, Professor. I'm not going to try and pronounce your last name again and make a jackass of myself. So let's see what my other window was. My other window, oh yeah, this goes along with the models that they're going off of. And we'll go to Ohio, where I live. Don't try to come and rape me or anything, now that you know where I live. But this is just no action greater than 70%, of the population, which on the models that you can take from the worst hit areas, China and Italy, you can take from the worst hit areas. There is no model that you can make that will justify this number at all, at all. And you go by this death rate, they're saying, on the reports from the Imperial College, oops, wrong one, Imperial College of blah, 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 London, which is the main one that the doctor for Ohio said she's going off of, they say 2.2 million will die if we do nothing. Well, then why does this model say 235,000? And why are you going by that model but not this model? And there's nothing to prove 2.2 million people will die, even in the taking models from the worst countries. None of it. None of it. None of it. None of this is jiving to me. I'm not telling you to believe this or believe that or believe what you're being told or the narrative. I'm just showing you a different perspective that the mainstream is not. And considering the mainstream has been bullshitting you about everything for the past 20 years, and yeah, including your side, no matter which station you watch, I'm always very precautious and try to do some research myself, which I urge you to do. I urge you to go on all of these. But then we look at the model, and this model actually, well, hold on. Let me take you to endorsements first. Stanford University, senior scholar, Stanford University, Yale School of Medicine. All these people endorse this model. This isn't some generic piece of shit model. This is actual one where a lot of credible sources say it's A1. So let's go back to this. This is a model that's actually telling you the truth about where they get their information. Only a small fraction of the world has been infected. No shit. It's a new disease. No shit. Variables will change. Once again, no shit. But thank you for letting us know that. ROs for interventions are guesses, people. Guesses. They're shutting down your life and freaking you the fuck out for guesses. In some cases, it's informed by data. Okay, I'll give you that. But it's still guesses. There's no historic precedent for what is going on right now to draw from. I agree. So everything's still up in the air. Who the hell knows? But the worst countries show us that all these models are garbage. The default RO used in this model is an average, okay? The model does not adjust for the population density, hence Italy, as far as, well, I guess that's not density, but you can go by major cities. Yeah, major cities are going to get more disease because they have higher densities. That's just what happens with all viruses. Culturally determined interaction. That's what it is with Italy. Culturally determined interaction, frequency, and closeness. Here's another one, humidity and temperature. It's showing that once the northern hemisphere, you can look this up, Kim Iverson on YouTube has a great video about temperature and humidity and actual facts that are showing that it just starts dying off after a certain point of temperature. Very, very unbiased person. Great listen. I highly recommend her. This is not a no-based analysis. Everyone, and thus assumes everyone spreads, look at that, spreads disease at the same rate. In practice, there are some folks who are super spreaders. I'm a super spreader with kids. I got 5 kids. Man, I'm a super sperm spreader. The others who are and others who are almost isolated. So it's all assumptions. What I'm trying to say is it's all assumptions. It's all bullshit. They're shutting down your life. While I bring up the point, they're shutting down your life and your way of living and income, and literally destroying your life financially, while they're asking you to risk everything and lose everything for the greater good, while they are sitting in their governor's mansions and White Houses and all kinds of other things like that. So let's go to the next one. Yeah, this is the Imperial College of London. Read all their reports. This is what Ohio is basing their Gestapo measures on. Okay, so this is just a quick point I wanted to bring up. Ebola. Ebola has a 50% death rate. Okay. Right now in reports they're saying that 80% of people who get COVID-19 are going to self-resolve. They won't need any medical attention. A lot of them won't even know they had it, and they will get cured from it. I'll tell you what these pop-ups are. It has to do with earning cryptocurrency. On other videos, I'll talk to you about cryptocurrency and how to put some money into it. And that might be the way of the future. You might want to think about it. Sorry. Anyway, with Ebola, okay, with COVID-19, you got 80% roughly. Obviously, like I said, all models are crap, even both sides models. And that's just kind of an assumption as well. But if you're going to go by the other assumptions, why not go by these assumptions? That's what I'm trying to show you. You got to look at both sides of it. And if one side is all assumptions and hearsay, then why would you ignore assumptions and hearsay on the other side? But they're saying 80% self-resolve, and they're saying that it's probably been in the United States a lot longer than people thought, and that weird sickness that everybody's getting for a month, it's a possibility it might have been this. But 80% self-resolve. Do you know how many people self-resolve with Ebola? Zero. None. You don't self-resolve with Ebola. 100 people get it, and don't get medical attention, 100 people will die. It's just as infectious. It's obviously 8 times more deadly, probably more than that. But for that infectious disease, they actually brought people in from the last few years. Democratic Republic of the Congo has had a bad outbreak, and a lot of people are dying, but the experts in the Congo have actually been able to, for the most part, keep a handle on a disease that's just as infectious and a lot more deadly than COVID-19, like a lot more deadly. And I mean, look at this. So far, 3.4% for COVID death rate, and Ebola is 50%. I think that's going to say that's a little bit, more deadly. But what I'm saying here is, why don't you talk to those doctors in Africa? Because it's in Africa, they aren't as good as us in the United States or Europe or China or anything like that. Obviously, they're better at certain things than we are, but that's not why I wanted to bring this up. Why I wanted to bring this up is the last few years there has been an outbreak, a lot of deaths, and it's disgusting. And with COVID-19, they literally shut the whole country down, for the most part. Not letting people in, all this kind of stuff. But for Ebola, which is still a health concern, they decided that bringing people from the Democratic Republic of the Congo was a great idea for something that, and this is actually, what I'm trying to show you is, there's a lot of contradictions, there's a lot of goofy numbers, and I'm not going to, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a politician, thank God, because I don't want to lie to you. But I'm just bringing all kinds of different perspectives, just to think about, just to get you to actually start researching this crap yourself, instead of taking their, just eating what they're handing you. And I found this article, this is hilarious, worldhealth.net. They have found out that, and this is just through small independent studies and only a handful of clinics,